Hello, my name is Paige. Welcome to my channel, Paperbacks and Lattes. Today I want to tell you some age gap romances that I recommend. This is one of my favorite tropes. I love a good age gap romance, and I don't like, when it's written well, it's not creepy, but these are some age gap romances that I have read and that I want to recommend to you. The first one is Her Perfect by Stephie Wells. This is about a girl who has grown up in this family, and her brothers and her parents are all huge into like football. Her brothers play football. They go to like their football games on the weekends and whatnot, but she is completely opposite. She plays the piano and very well. And she's completely opposite, and she's just not very much noticed. She is close to one brother, but really her family does not appreciate who she is, and like when she has her piano recitals, they don't come. And it's just so sad how alone she is in her family. But she and her teacher, he is not too much older than her, but she and her teacher they have a thing for each other. And he notices how alone she is, and then she's also dealing with an eating disorder, and she's just dealing with a lot in her life, and he notices this, but he is always there for her. Like when she like runs and walks every day, and so he starts going on these runs and walks with her, and he is just very there for her because he knows that not many people are. And she actually goes through a lot in this book, and I don't want to get all into it because I don't want to ruin the plot. But I really enjoyed this one because it has a lot of, they do have the eating disorder trigger, and I'm pretty sure she has depression and abandonment issues and things like that. But it was amazing to see her progress from where she started in the book to the end, and how much that the hero cared for her. It was just amazing. I love this one so much. The next one is Unconditional by Q.B. Tyler. This is one that is more on the taboo side, but I still loved it so much. This is about a girl who something happened to her parents, and she kind of witnessed it. So she went through this horrible trauma, but the police officer that showed up and rescued her took her in because like she didn't want to. He felt something for her. He was so sad that she was all alone and that she had witnessed this horrible thing with her parents. And so he took her in and raised her. He did not adopt her though. He just raised her. He wanted her to have a good home. And there's also another cop on the force that helps take care of her. She was kind of like a mom figure to her. And this girl grows up being raised by this guy. But she doesn't view him as a dad. She just views him like as a guardian. Well, when she comes to age, she's close to 18 when she starts to have feelings for him. But he, tells her that nothing can happen. And she is really the one that pursues him. She is very much in love with the hero of the story, and there is eventually a love story between them, a romance. This borders on taboo since he did officially raise her from, I think she was 7 when she came to live with him, but they never were in like a father-daughter type of position because she didn't view him that way and he didn't view her that way either. So it was mainly they were friends, and then they just grew closer together as, they got older. It was really sweet. I loved how much they had this deep friendship before anything ever happened. So and he meant a lot to her because of how he rescued her from what she had been through and gave her a better life. The next one is Cherry Bomb by Carmel Rhodes. This is a girl who falls in love with her best friend's dad. So this girl and her best friend are in college. They are roommates, and her roommate has never known her dad before. But now her dad wants a relationship with her. You know, he wants to know her and get, you know, meet her and all that. So she knows her roommate is about to meet her dad for the very first time. And she is working at this restaurant, you know, like a side job to pay the bills. And she has this group of guys who, you know, at this table, she's very much attracted to one of them. He is older than her, but they exchange phone numbers, and she goes and meets him, and they have a steamy night together. And then a few days later, she keeps seeing him, and then she realizes that it's her roommate's dad that her roommate has just met. And so she keeps it a secret from her roommate, which that was like the most irritating part of this book, was that she kept this a secret, because, you know, it's a huge conflict that eventually comes out, which breaks the couple up, and they feel like they can't be together because, you know, he's dating his daughter's best friend and whatnot. But this was actually a pretty fun, entertaining story, so I did want to include it on this recommendation video. The next one is Him by LL Ash. I absolutely adored this one. This is a lot like Birthday Girl in my opinion, except not the girl's boyfriend's or her ex-boyfriend's dad. It's her best friend's dad. But it has still had lots of comparisons to Birthday Girl in my opinion, and I really enjoyed it. So this girl and her best friend are going to college, and they have to, you know, they're moving away out of, I don't know if it's out of state, but they're moving away. They don't have the money to rent an apartment, but her dad lives nearby. Her dad has been sort of active in her life, not quite as much as her mom. She has met him a few times, but she's not very close to him. But he does live near their college, and so he tells them they both can stay at his house. And once they move in, her best friend joins a fraternity and says see ya and moves out because she is really just kind of wanting to live a more wilder lifestyle than she has previously lived. And so now this girl is stuck living with her best friend's dad by herself, but they actually have a lot in common, and they enjoy each other's company. And of course, the more they're around each other, the more, you know, they're very much attracted to each other, and a romance happens between them, and it is so amazing. I really recommend Him by LL Ash, especially if you read Birthday Girl and liked that one. The next one is On the Island by Tracey Garvis Graves. This is about an older woman and a younger man. So when the book begins, I think he's 15 or 16. He's actually a year behind in his school because he has had a cancer, and they hired this teacher to tutor him over the summer. The family is going, you know, on a summer getaway on like this island. So he and the teacher, his tutor, actually have to leave at a separate time. That's why they're on a separate plane than the rest of the family. So their plane goes down. The pilot has a heart condition, and I think he has like a heart attack while he's flying the plane. The plane goes down to the ocean. They land on this remote island. Nobody knows where they are. Nobody can find them. They are stuck on this island, and they have to survive, and they go through a lot to survive on this island. A couple times there are life and death situations, and it is so scary because, you know, you can't imagine being in that type of situation. And they're trying to like build shelter, find food to eat, save what little bit they have, and they are on this island for years. And something grows between them, you know, when he becomes of age, and they are all each other has left, and they really bond. This experience was so traumatic, and they really bonded with each other very strongly, and they fell in love with each other. And then finally, when they're rescued, society does not understand this and think that she has taken advantage of him because she is the older one, and they, you know, they struggle in their relationship once they get back to society. But this was such an amazing book. I have not read one like it, and I would love to find something else like it, but it was amazing. So good. The next one is Luna in the Lie by Mariana Zapata. This girl is working at this car auto shop. She was taught to paint the cars, and that is what she does for her job. And she is a very cheerful, sunshine personality type of character. And one of her bosses, like there's co-owners of this auto shop, he is very grumpy, and she does everything she can to like make him smile, which she is very friendly with everybody, but she really, you know, it's like her mission to make him smile and happy. And she makes them their coffees. She brings in, if somebody has a birthday, she brings them a birthday cake. She is just always so positive and so happy, even though she has a lot going on in her life. She is raising her sisters. She has had a lot of tragedy in her life, and they start to bond. And he is also has dealt with a lot in his life that he's still trying to get over. And she comes to realize this, and there is an age gap between them because he is much older than her. But I loved their story so much. They work together every day, of course, and just seeing how grumpy he is compared to her sunshiny character is just, it was so good. I loved it so much. The next one is actually a series, and this is the Fallen Men series by Giana Darling. All of them are age gaps. I've read every one except for the last one that has came out in December. I still haven't read it. I really need to read it, but I've read all the other ones, and they are all age gaps, and this is a motorcycle club romance. You will not go wrong with any of them. But my two favorite books in the series are Welcome to the Dark Side and Inked in Lies. Those are my absolute favorites, but if I had to pick one, it would be Welcome to the Dark Side, because that is like the president of the MC club, and he's the dad of the couple of the children that have their stories. And he falls in love with a girl he rescued when she was little, years and years and years later when she's grown up, and they have an incredible romance. His son has a romance with his teacher that she's older than him. His daughter has a romance with a police officer that is older than her. And then there is a member of the motorcycle club, Nova. He has a romance with like his younger foster sister. And so these are really great books. I love them. If you like any like romance, motorcycle club romances, this is my absolute number one favorite motorcycle club romance series. I love them so much. The next one is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I know that I've already mentioned it, you know, compared some other books to it, but I do have to include it on this list because it is like the ultimate age gap romance that I have loved so much. This is about a girl who, she has her boyfriend. She and her boyfriend are kicked out of their apartment, and so they go to live with his dad. And she and the dad have a lot of chemistry between themselves. This is slow burn, I'm telling you. It is, you can just feel the chemistry between these two. But nothing happens. Like she does break up with her boyfriend before, you know, anything happens between them. But I love Birthday Girl so much. If you are hesitant about this book, please don't be hesitant. This is not as taboo as it seems. It is very mild compared to some of the other books that I've already mentioned. Just please read it. It is so good and well worth your time. The next one is Torn by Carian. This is about a guy who is best friends with this girl's dad. So this girl was born, so this girl, her parents got accidentally pregnant with her in high school. I think they were like 16. And so they are pretty young still when she is, now of 18 and of age. And their best friend, he like works on motorcycles, and he's been there all along the way. He's been like a step, like he has just been part of the family. Even though he's not part of the family, he has just been there every step of the way. He's like in all of the pictures and the photo albums and everything. He is just a part of the family, and they're like best friends. And once she becomes of age, she realizes that she likes him more than a friend, and she lets him know this, which he's very hesitant. He pushes her away and puts a stop on it, saying, we can't do this. But, the more he realizes it himself, that he is falling in love with her, in that type of way, more than just being her friend. It was really a beautiful story. Of course, there are a lot of people. There are some people, like her dad is really against the relationship, but they fight for a way to be with each other, and I really enjoyed this age gap. The next one is Wrong by Jana Aston. This is about a girl who is working in this coffee shop, and this guy comes in every single morning to get his coffee, and she is just crushing on him. And she goes in to like the local, I don't know if I think it's the health department or the hospital or something, to get birth control. And there he is. He is the OB that examines her. It is such a funny meet cute that this hot guy that she has been crushing on now is her doctor. And they actually start up a relationship, even though he's older than she is. And he comes from like a totally different background than she does. He comes from this really wealthy family, and they are hesitant when they meet her because he brings her to like a family dinner, and they have a relationship with each other, and it is really cute. This is more of a rom-com type of feel, but it is still an age gap, and I enjoyed this one. It did make me laugh. The next one is Breaking Gravity by Autumn Gray. This is actually the second book in the series, so I highly recommend reading the first book in the series. But this is an age gap, so that's why I included it on this list. It's just you'll be kind of confused about the story, and you won't have the full appreciation of it if you don't read the first one first, which is Fall Back Skyward. But this is the second book, and this is about a girl who is going to college. She plays, I think, the cello, and her professor is who she has a relationship with, and so it is taboo and forbidden because he is much older than her, but also her professor. He could lose his job, she could be kicked out of college, and so there is a lot more that goes on along with that, but that is pretty much the gist of it. Really great book and really great series by Autumn Gray. The next one is like a short story. This is Can I Come Over by Whitney G. This is about a girl who writes steamy romance novels, and she was needing some inspiration. So there was like this unknown friend that she had online, and he wrote it for her, and he wrote it like really good. And so they start talking, and they are talking anonymously on the web for months. And finally they want to meet each other, and so they agree to meet each other. And when she meets him at the airport, he turns out to be her dad's best friend. Oh my goodness. It was really, really cute, and it's actually it's a short story, so it this one doesn't have, you know, too much plot since it's short, but it ended up being a pretty good short story. And the last recommendation I have for this video is The Truth About Tomorrow by Celeste. This is about a girl who ends up falling in love with her parents' best friend, and he has kind of been along the way also ever since she was born. And he is like their honorary uncle, and she ends up having a thing for him, and they have been best friends as well. Like, he gets her when her parents do not, and she is sent to go live near him, I think, when she goes to school. And she starts up, you know, trying to have more with him, which he immediately puts the brakes on it, but then does finally give in. There is underage in this book, actually. So just want to give a warning for that. If, you know, that was really not, I don't really like that, but they did put a quick stop to it. It didn't go on for very long. And then they waited until after she was over 18 before they resumed their relationship. But there was, of course, a lot of roadblocks in the way of them trying to have a relationship between them, because it was very forbidden and not a lot of people liked them being together, especially her parents. But this was a pretty good, other than the one incident before she turned 18, but I do recommend it. Other than that part of it, it turned out to be a really good age gap. So those are the age gap romances that I have recommended for you today. Let me know if you've read any of them and what are your favorite age gap romances. I'm always looking for a really good age gap romance. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.